Welcome to 8.2. Now we're going to be adding and subtracting the rational expressions. To do that, we're going to have to remember, how do you add a normal fraction? And the answer is you have to have common denominators. So like if I want to add 2/5 to, I don't know, we'll say 4/5, you just add the tops together to get 6, and the denominator stays the same for 6/5. However, if they don't have common denominators, like in this case over here, what you're going to have to do is multiply to get them to be the same. So like I can multiply this one by 3/3. Whatever you're going to multiply on bottom, you have to multiply on top. That's going to give me 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 5 is 15, which doesn't help me, except if I do this, maybe 5/5, that'll give me 20/15. Now that I have common denominators, I can go ahead and add those. So that would be 26/15, and of course, if you can simplify, you should. So now we're going to see how you can do that when it comes to monomials, rational expressions, etc., etc. So the first thing, these ones right here are kind of easier slightly, because I can see a little easier what's missing. So for example, I start just by looking at the numbers. The first one, that 5, isn't a 10, obviously, but I'm thinking if I multiply that by a 2, and of course if you're going to multiply it on the bottom, you have to multiply it on top, that will give me the 10, so that the denominator would be the same. Now do that for the variables. I see I have 3 variables here, 1 variable there. A's, I'm sorry, 3 A's here, 1 A there. That means this one needs 2 A's, or A squared. And if I'm going to multiply it on bottom, you got to multiply it on top. Then do the B's. 2 B's, 1 B. The second one is missing a B, so I'm going to multiply by a B. Just like that. So what I want to do then is multiply these. So this one becomes 2 times 4, which is 8, over 2 times 5, which is 10, A cubed B squared. And then on the other side, this is going to become 9, A squared B C, over 10, A cubed B squared. And the whole goal of this was to try to get those two things to be the exact same, which they finally are. So now, literally all you do is just write the stuff that's on top with a plus sign in the middle. 8 plus 9, A squared BC, over 10, A cubed B squared. Again, you only have to write that bottom once. If there were like terms on top, go ahead and combine them. There are not in this case, so that's my final answer. So then what happens if it's a polynomial, not just monomials? Again, you're going to want to factor. So step 1 is factor. And on this one, it looks like I need to factor the bottom on the left one. So x minus 1 over what multiplies to negative, adds to -1 and multiplies to -6. And I believe that's going to be -3 and +2. Okay, when you get good at factoring, you don't have to do the table anymore, huh? Then, over here, this one, notice it's not a trinomial on the bottom, but I do think I can take a 5 out, so it would just be 5x plus 2. So then what I'm asking myself is, what does each side have that the other doesn't? So this is going to be where, on step 2, I find common denominators. Eek, get that squeezed in. Okay, great. So then what I'm going to do, I see that both of them have this x plus 2. So I'm looking for the, excuse me, I'm looking for the stuff that they don't have the same. So this one has an x minus 3, the right one does not. So let's multiply by x minus 3. This one has a 5, and this one does not, so I'm going to multiply by 5. So what does that give me now? 5 parentheses x minus 1 over 5 x minus 3 x plus 2. Notice I never distribute on the bottom. I leave it fully factored. Minus 4 x minus 3 5 x plus 2 and x minus 3. Hey, now they're the same. I know they're in different orders, but they're the same. So step 3 is to go ahead and add. Or subtract. Now notice this little note I put over here. It may involve some distributing. I'll show you what that's going to look like here in just a second. First things first, go ahead and just write what you know. So I have 5 parentheses x minus 1 subtracting 4 times x minus 3 all over 5 parentheses x minus 3 x plus 2. On the top, go ahead and distribute up there, and you'll see why here in just a second. So it'll be 5x minus 5 minus 4x minus 12. Of course, that negative sign can kind of be distributed in, and I'm just working on the top right now. So it would be 5x minus 5 minus 4x plus 12. This allows me to combine some like terms. So this will be x and then what, plus 7? Now that is going to go over the bottom. And that's your answer. And I believe that's all we're going to do for this one.